Hi and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the cardboard crafter, and hopefully you caught my last video where I made these box cards with that beautiful gilded butterfly inside. So I've had a few questions about it. The first question was about where do I write. So if you remember, we used a 4x4 die to cut that square out at the front, and what I should have included in the video, and I'm really sorry I didn't, was that gets glued onto the back there as a little bit more of a pattern and to tie in with the front of the card. And then on top of that there's a piece of white card which measures, I think it's 3 3/4, yes, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 on there, and you can glue it straight down as I have and then write on it, or you can stamp it and then pop it on, or you can stamp it while it's on there because it does it does fold flat like that to go in an envelope. So that's the first question: where do you write? On the back. And the other ones, so I had two people, Sam and Chris, asking about how could I go over making the butterfly, stamping the butterfly, and just oh, that's not on, is it? And just give you a bit more detail about how to get started. I think someone said that they had the kit, they bought the kit but they never used it. So I thought what I'll do is I'll come on and I'll show you from start to finish how to use your gilding flakes. So first thing you'll need is your set of gilding flakes, and it's a very old set. I've had it a while, and rather than buying new sets I just add to it. So first thing you're going to do is your sponge comes to you, and I'm really sorry about the rattling. Your sponge comes to you like this. It's a nice big piece, and all you're going to do is cut a piece off that's going to work for you. And I normally go for something like those sizes. So, and your scissors will go through them really easily. Just cut straight through and that will cut through. Okay, cut it down to whatever size you want. The other question was, how often do we replace them? Well, I don't replace them very often until they get really mucky. And bearing in mind that the glue will attract and everything will stick to it, that can happen after about 4 or 5 uses. Depends how well you look after it and whether you wash it. So yeah, I think you can wash it. I don't. I've got plenty of this foam, but I don't tend to wash it. I'm sure I've heard that some people have washed the glue out of it. So I'll pop that back in. So first thing you do is cut your foam down to size. And it's something that's manageable. Don't try and use a great big piece, I've found. Your kit will also include your flitter glue, and usually most of them will have some sort of gilding flakes in there. So these are the ones I use for the butterfly, and these are the Morris Dance ones. Now that's a combination of different colours on the stamp, on the gilding flakes. And as you can see, if I just move that around, hopefully you can see some of the colours in it. But you can get just gold, you can get rose gold, you can get silver, you can get copper, you get all sorts of colours. And of course you can make your own mixes as well. So that's entirely up to you, and it does work. Just don't be afraid of it. Just a pinch of one and a pinch of the other, mix them together, and if you're happy you can either add more or not. Okay, so you'll get your gilding flakes, and then the first thing you do with your gilding flakes is find a bigger tub and decant it into your bigger tub, because one of the things I found is if you try and put them back into the tub, it's not happening. They fly everywhere, they make a right old mess, you lose half your pot, and yeah, it just doesn't work. So try and find something like this. I think this is probably Poundland, although I had it quite a while, but it's a Poundland tub or something. It doesn't matter as long as it's bigger than the pot that you get them in, and they're normally about that size, aren't they, the pots that you get them in. So decant straight in there. Hopefully with your kit, you'll also get a scrunchie. So this is a scrunchie I bought separate because I've purchased several pots of Gilding Flakes. So this, I think I picked this up at a craft fair or something, but you can use like a kitchen one. That works just as well. Just have to be a little more gentle with it when you are using it. You will get your Gilding Flake sticking to your scrunchie, your whatever they call it, I don't know. You will get your Gilding Flake sticking to it. Don't worry, just they will pick off like that. Okay. So I'll pop that to one side. Always keep your lid on because otherwise they fly everywhere. So once you've cut your foam to whatever size you want, so I'm going to pretend this is a new one. You should get in your kit as well one of these little spreader things as well. And this is what you'll use to spread your glue onto your foam. So, and you put it on the white side. Don't put it on that side because it just won't work. You need it to sink in. So you'll open your tub, and this is quite an old tub, but there's still loads in there because you're going to be quite sparing with it. So the first time you load up your piece of foam, you're going to get a piece probably about that size, and then you're going to spread it all over your foam. Now there's already glue on that, so I'm not going to do tons. You're just going to spread it over your foam like that, and it'll start to sink in, but you can still see the glue, the kind of shine from the glue. Check if there's any bits that you haven't got or bits that you've missed, and just get a tiny little amount, pop it on, and then spread it because it will spread. And it's a bit like butter on hot toast. It will sink in really well. Okay, pop that down and always put your lid back on as soon as you can. Because otherwise it will get, if you've got a dusty atmosphere or if anything falls on it, it's impossible to get it, because this stuff takes forever to dry as well. So and once you've finished with it, so if you're doing a project, always put it into a plastic bag, whatever size, it's just that it stops the air getting to the glue, so it will last a lot longer. Okay, so that's there. Get yourself a stamp. Now any stamp will do. It will do words, it will do very ornate and intricate ones as well. So get your stamp. Always wash between using it unless you're doing a batch. So if I was doing 4 or 5 all at the same time, then that's fine, keep going. But if you have any time between doing your first image and your next one, I would wash it again. Warm soapy water will get rid of the glue, not a problem. But if you do it, if it's dried a little bit, and it doesn't really dry, it just gets really sticky. But if you've left it for any length of time, come back, even if you re-glue it, then it can tear on your paper. So take your glue and take it to your stamp. Now this is a black stamp. I've never used ink on this. It was already black. So what's really useful about this one is that I can see where the glue is. So pop that to one side like that. If I bring that up, you can see little bits of white on there. Take your stamp to your card, and like any other image, just go over it a few times, making sure that you've got contact with all of that area. I do like to flip it over and just run my fingers over as well, just to make sure I've got everything in contact. Now you're not going to take your stamp from your card, you're going to take your card from your stamp. And if it comes up too easily, you might just want to go back over with your fingers and take it off. Do not leave it for too long, on the card, otherwise your stamp will stick to your card and you'll have a right mess. Okay, I'm just moving that out of the way. Bring in your gilding flakes, and there's different ways you can do it. You can pick it up and bring it to that, or if it's in a nice big pot like this, you can just simply lay it down, pounce over a little bit, and then when you pick it up, it's picked up a whole load of gilding flakes, and then just run your fingers over. What this does is this just takes off some of the gilding flakes, but it also allows you to find if there's any spaces that are still a little bit sticky, and you can go over with a little bit of the gilding flakes just to recover it. So use your fingers like that, and I always do it over the pot. That's why, another reason why a big pot is useful, because any that slide back in can be reused. Okay, when you get to a state like that where most of you're thinking, gosh, that is a mess, bring in your scrunchie and very gently rub the scrunchie over. You don't need to go at it really like a bullet shop or anything like that. Just very, very gently go all over your image, and you'll see, hopefully you can see, lots of almost like dust. Push that back into your pot as well, because even that will stick to your image when you do your next one and will bring up a really nice finish. Okay, when you get to that state, put it on a piece of card or the lid of your box, and then just be a little bit, still don't go at it too much, but you can put a little bit more pressure on, like that, and keep going until you can see all the fine detail in your image. And then once you've done that, again, all those bits are going to go back in my pot, and all the bits on there are going to go back in as well. Do a bit of housekeeping. Pop. I always try to leave one scrunchie per pot as well, just so that I'm not contaminating the other one. So especially things like my silver or my gold, where I want to keep it just silver or just gold, I don't want bits of another mix going into it. So let's pop that out the way, and then I've got a towel, so just use your towel or a paper towel to just buff that up and get rid of any of the last bits. And there you go, that's your image. And if I bring it up, hopefully you can see all the detail on there, which matches with, I turn it around, matches with the stamp. And that's how you do it. I always make sure that let's move that out the way so I don't ruin it now. I always make sure that my foam between uses, so I'm not going to use this now for another day or two, so that will go back in to a plastic bag, which it will stick to, so I will just kind of rub it over it like that, and then try and get as much air out of it as possible and fold it up. And that will keep that fresh now for another 2 or 3 uses, maybe more, depending on what size the projects are. So I'll keep that to one side, and this I will wash again. Make sure that you wash your stamped image, which I've moved somewhere and lost. There it is, right in front of me. So these will now go straight into the wash, some nice warm soapy water, and scrape everything off, particularly this, because this one's been out for a little bit longer. It will start to dry and get a bit bitty on that. But warm soapy water brings back your stamp, no problem, brings back your tools, whatever you've used, and that's as simple as it is. So really great. I love using Gilding Flakes, I really do. And you can use, there's so many different colours and so many different mixes that you can use as well. Let's move that side so I don't wreck my card. So there you go. Have a go. If you've got them, definitely get them out and have a play with them. You're not going to ruin anything, you know. And I know they're a good investment. I think it's about £15 to £20 for the starter pack, but they are worth it. And you can buy little pots of Gilding Flakes in all sorts of places now as well. So there you go. So I hope that that's answered any of the questions that I had. Just to say, this stuff, this is a few years older. I bought this before the pandemic, so this glue has lasted a very, very long time. As long as you look after it, make sure your pot is sealed, and make sure that you keep it in a plastic tub like that. Anyway, if you've got questions, do bob me a line over at cbcrafter@yahoo.com. Always happy to answer them. So I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.